And so I'm disappointed that we are politicizing aid to California now that we need it. I was disappointed that my amendment was blocked from even basic consideration. And I'm disheartened to learn that House and Senate Republicans continue to threaten conditions on the basic aid that Californians need right now. This is something un-American and consistent with every other federal disaster response.
The Fixed Our Forest Act will actually use science to manage our forests so that we don't have these massive amounts of dead trees that fall to the forest floor that are the fuel for these uncontrolled wildfires. We have to get it right. We have to change the way we do things, because we've seen now for years that these uncontrolled wildfires are having horrible effects across the nation. I believe that we can do even more. As Vice Chairman of the Natural Resources Committee, we're committed to do even more to responsibly manage our natural resources to avoid tragedies like we're seeing unfold in California.
And we've asked President Trump to come out to California to survey the damage. I hope he comes out soon, like he would for any natural disaster that has occurred in any other part of the country. And certainly California needs the support of the federal government.
Her name's Melissa. His name's Josiah. And there are many, many, many more that are out there that have survived, but many more were never given the option to be able to survive. So I say to my Democratic colleagues, which one of these people don't matter? I think they all do. And I think each person is valuable.
One was the Lake and Riley Act, which allows states to be more proactive if the federal government doesn't safeguard their citizens against illegal foreign nationals entering and being in the country and committing crimes. Of course, Lake and Riley was horrifically attacked, raped, and murdered in Georgia. Completely unnecessary. There's got to be accountability, and that's the result. So passed by the House and the Senate, headed to the president for his signature. Also, the Safe Forests Act with California, another season of burning forests and burning homes.
She showed us her many pieces of bipartisan legislation she worked on, signed by President Biden. Kim is rated as one of the most bipartisan members in the entire Congress, helping her win re-election as a Republican.
As you know, after November election, Alex, I'm the only Republican in the greater Los Angeles and Orange County area.
How's that feel?
It's a challenge, a lot of weight on my shoulder, but I need to represent my community and the concerns and the pressing issues and the crisis that we're facing.
We also passed several bills, but one of them stood out to me that was very important. It was the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act. Big name, but it does exactly what the name says. If an abortion fails and the baby is born alive, they need to be provided with the medical care of any other child that is born. That's all it does.
As a physician, I know that every child deserves the opportunity to live and grow and thrive. I have personally performed a number of in utero surgeries on unborn babies as early as 18 weeks of gestation. And I've met some of these patients who grew to be adults with their own children. I know these fragile lives are worth saving, and I'm grateful to everyone who protects them.
But one of the most exciting ones was yesterday after the House narrowly passed the Born Alive bill. The gallery was filled with young people here for the March for Life, and they broke out in cheers. And it was awesome to hear. And that's what gives me the greatest hope, is I do think that we are turning the tide.
Now, I have seen Mr. Pete Hegseth make his case. I've seen his answers in front of the Senate Armed Services Committee. I've seen the reports. I can say from my experience in the Secretary of Defense's office, as well as in the Situation Room, that Mr. Hegseth's appointment is an unnecessary risk in a dangerous global moment.
I thought he was a very dumb person, but I used him well, because every time people saw me come into a meeting with John Bolton standing behind me, they thought that he'd attack them because he was a warmonger.
He'd bring him to meetings with foreign dignitaries thinking John Bolton's going to start a war, so he used him as his heavy. But in the end, he's a dumb person, President Trump says about John Bolton.
Grant,
this guy.
No senator should vote for someone who they can only hope will learn on the job, not for the Secretary of Defense, No senator should vote for a nominee on the hope that he will display more personal discipline once he gets the job. There are strong, experienced, and able members of the president's party whose views align with his, who could be exceptional leaders of the Department of Defense. Mr. Hegseth is not one of them.
Hay mucha migra y todos están cayendo. No les recomiendo cruzar porque hay un chingo de migra. ¿A dónde va?